I would use, to try to make this make sense, I would use Mike and Jamil as a classic example.
That's exactly where I went with it.
Okay, so you see, it's like, okay, we will let you all be. So when they were doing their thing and it was his and hers, that was just them. But what happens is they get more popular. So his and hers, I mean, not his and hers. It was what was the numbers? Numbers don't lie.
Numbers
no,
never
his
lie.
and hers first, right? His and hers first. Then they changed Numbers Don't Lie.
No, it was Numbers Never Lie first, and then it was
numbers.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I got to anyway. So it was Numbers Never Lie, and then it became, all right, you all are good. Now we're going to change this and play off of the, the male-female thing and give you his and hers and move your time slot and, make you bigger and, put more money into you and, equate your popularity with what we're trying to do here and, just give you more visibility. Nobody's gonna turn that down. Nobody. So you do that, and fine. And now, oh, man, you all are really growing up, his and hers, and this, that, and the other, with marketing, this, and all right, cool. You know what? We're trying to, bring up the number of Sports Center. Let's give you a Sports Center. So we give you all your whole hour on Sports Center. We're going to repackage the 6 and give you that. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Now, all along, if you really think about it, as much as Mike and Jamil, and I know both of them very well, as much as they did everything they could to try to be who they were, every move you saw a little shift and change in them, didn't you? Not in them personally, but in how they were being packaged and what the message they were getting out, got told out to a general public. So by the time they got to Sports Center and you saw a drastic fight and change, like, all right, now you're at Sports Center, we need you to be this. And Mike and Jamil like, nah, we're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? And that fight, was seen on TV, and now all of a sudden, okay, you know what? This is not going the way we wanted to. Now we're going to change everything. So to my point is that you got Mike and Jamil succeeding in being who they were, growing in who they were. And the business side showed them what they could do by being themselves. But when they didn't come to agreement, and I'll probably use this word inaccurately, but placate to what the business wanted them to become, that they rose to a certain prominence, or in their mind gave them new space, okay, we're going to show you what we can take away from you. And not only for you all, but we're going to make an example for any other folks, specifically minority, black, or women, that's going to come in the game and try to fight what we want to happen. So not only is it a direct effect on Jamil and Mike in their careers, but anybody who wants to come behind and thinking they can be independent and fly and do stuff on their own and be that Charles like, here's what can happen to you.
Will make you disappear?
Well, not really disappear. We'll make you feel like we'll devalue you. That's the best way. They can't make any of us disappear. I don't want to give anybody that power. As big as he is seeing, I don't want them to ever think, or anybody think they have the power to just make us disappear. I'll never succumb to that. That will never come out of my mouth. But they will feel that you are devalued. You know what I'm saying? So they will do whatever they can to reduce you and use it as an example, as a reminder to anybody else that think that, whatever. They're coming in and going to be totally independent and be who they are and not, what's Stephen A's word? Acquiesce to what we need and what we want, then this can happen to you. Because, yes, you are big, and you brought up Michael Jordan early. Michael Jordan, you are big. You're huge. This thing and this game, not just basketball, this game, it's been around a lot longer than you have, a lot bigger than you. So every now and then we have to throw Michael Jordan a reminder, as Ted Leonis did in Washington, D.C., when he promised Mike to have ownership of the squad, and then when it came time to get that, you ain't going this game is bigger than you. As the NBA did, when Mike wasn't getting paid and they should have gave him a percentage of the league. No, you're not that big, son. You know what I'm saying? There'll be reminders.
Exactly. We're going to need you to leave.
So, and that's kind of what it boils down to, is that this business will always remind you in certain ways of what you can lose and use you as an example to remind everybody else that if you try to think you're bigger or that much different in the game, we'll remind you of what you stand to lose. One, we'll show you what you stand to gain and what you can have, and then we'll take it away from you as a reminder of what you stand to lose.
Preach. But
dude, it's fact. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Yeah, no.
It's fact.
Still, school, I say this every Wednesday and every Saturday. I say these things. That's why when I said just a second ago, every week I say, hey, I don't understand why millionaires are giving billionaires discounts under the guise of for the ring, because it's not my job to win a ring. Jerry Reinsdorf told the whole world Michael Jordan didn't win these rings. We did. When he said that every athlete in America, in my opinion, should have said, okay, since you got the ring, I need the money. And
but here's the deal. Everybody followed Michael's lead. And that's kind of where it goes. It shows you we're leading, because the leadership doesn't necessarily always have to be attached to money. In Jerry Reinsdorf, he's like, okay, you're going to say that, let's see what Michael does. And Michael played it smart, because guess what? Jerry Reinsdorf does have rings and shit, but he's not milking money off those. You talk about money, he's not milking money off those rings the way Michael Jordan is.
Exactly.
And that's where you lose sight. That's where, big business lose sight of the power of little business. Because at the end of the day, money is still attached to popularity. You know what I'm saying? If you have the largest volume of people following you, then you have the better chance of getting the most money. That bag is coming to you. So Reinsdorf could be like, it wasn't Reinsdorf, it was Krause. Krause could be like, hey, managers with my money. All right, fine. You know what? Guess what? Jerry Krause, look at where you are and look where Michael Jordan is right now. And you all got the same amount of rings. So don't get that twisted. Reinsdorf, look at where, and Reinsdorf, just as a businessman is making more money than Michael Jordan. But at the same time, money doesn't constitute value, impact, and influence. So, it's, at the end of the day, when you buried and you look at that, like I say, that dash between the dates when you were born and when you died, that's your whole legacy. I'll take Michael Jordan's legacy over Jerry Reinsdorf. Jerry Reinsdorf may die with more money, but from that legacy piece, I'll take Michael's all day. You know what I'm saying? And to your point about those rings,
And I'm glad you brought that up. When did, as a sports culture, when did we start hating? You always hated in sports. It was always, I hate Joe Montana, I hate John Elway, I hate the Packers. The hate was there. When do we go from hate to despise? Because this whole thing with LeBron James, it's a vitriol behind that. Where did that start? And how did that start?
Well, I think ultimately it started when the lines of communication changed between athletes and fans, and also between fans, athletes, and the media. I think the growth of everything along the line fused a situation that is going to be hard-pressed to point at when exactly it happened. I think, and I don't want to put it, it's not just social media, it's the advent of the internet and ability to reach people in a way that didn't exist before. That the Michael Jordans and the Magic Johnsons and they didn't have to deal with it, but also they didn't have that access to people, and people had to come to them, as opposed to them being brought to everybody through one medium, and that medium being television, or whatever other type of advertising. The internet allowed them to be brought to them in their homes without them having to do anything. And that, I think, was a part of a change going on. Now, that grew them exponentially. LeBron, from a popularity standpoint, maybe more popular than Michael Jordan because of the amount of people that know who he is and have access to him because of the way the internet is shaped and has been built since LeBron's been in the league, and it wasn't that way when someone like Michael or Magic or Larry Bird were in the league. But also, so I think that's part of where that changed, because when you introduce more people like that, and you know how the internet works, is you have a lot of, it's just, people don't have to care or be engaged or, be attached to anything you're a part of in order to become a part of what you're a part of. There are a lot of people who will, on various platforms on social media, have something to say about LeBron James, and they don't give a damn about him. It's just them just exercising their right to what they consider as free communication. Our problem is that we attack that to people and how they really feel about LeBron James. These people really don't. They just in it because it's a popular thing to do. I've used it all the time. Look, Justin Bieber has however many millions and millions and millions of followers. Millions. I think he only got one gold record. One platinum record. You know what I'm saying? So my thing, it doesn't translate to anything but what it is at some point in time. And if you weren't a fan of Michael Jordan, then you just weren't a fan of Michael Jordan. We didn't gauge that as a number for Michael Jordan's popularity. Because if you didn't mess with Mike, you didn't mess with Mike. But every number, when you look with Michael, if you did a Q quotient on Michael Jordan, you're like, 80 million people love Michael. Those 80 million people love Michael Jordan. You may have 300 million people love LeBron James, but 80 of them may love him. The other, man, you may have 100 million don't even know who he is. They just clicking in because the way the system is set up, you don't have to engage in it. So to me, that's a big part of your answer where the hate comes from, because you just have people it's almost like clickbait. They just do it for the sake because it's anonymous. They can say stuff and get away with stuff, and they can tell their two friends that they got in that basement there sitting there like, I said something about LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how they roll. Right. Now, the second part of this is that a lot of the hate that's attached to that comes with the way athletes carry themselves today in a way that they didn't before. And you mentioned LeBron James and all the hate that he gets. I've always said LeBron doesn't do anything to help his cause. I think he brings I didn't say as much, but a lot of hatred to himself that is unnecessary if he did things differently. And yes, he's scrutinized. Yes, he's under a microscope and this and the other. But knowing that, and I always start off with this. When LeBron James won his first MVP, do you know what he went out to the club that night wearing?
What's that?
A T-shirt that said LBJ MVP.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Right, that's my point. Nobody. Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but nobody's ever done that, and that's really not a good look. If you're the first person to do that, and you ain't even on the Jordan, Magic, Larry Bird level, you doing that already? That.
Yeah.
That's like you feeling yourself a lot, dude. You know what I'm saying? You follow that up with look, please go back and look at all the players, top players that were free agents the year, what was it, 2010 that LeBron went to Miami? That summer? Summer 2010, right? Okay. Go back and look at Mari Stoudemire. Look at all them cats. Did any one of them have close to a press conference? You know what I'm saying? Did any one of them go out of their way to hey man, I'm Amari Stoudemire, I'm leaving Phoenix and going to New York. No big deal. I'm an all-star. I'm one of the most sought-after dudes. Yeah, LeBron's a little more special, but he ain't got me, Carmelo, all these cats that were free agents during that time. Look at how they handled that. Dwayne Wade, who had won a championship. Chris Bosh and all stuff. Nobody made a big deal out of it. But LeBron,